Hello to all my dear followers. Today I want to welcome you to the first chapter of What If Naruto Fell in Love with INO? Remember, if you want to support the channel and for more seasons, just leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Now then, let's begin.
Chapter 1. Intervention. He was lying on the old bed in his apartment while looking at the photo of the old Team 7, paying attention to the image of Sakura and Sasuke, who had left Konoha a year ago. During that time, the blonde had done nothing but train, sleep, and eat to pass his days. He had done all that without any desire to do anything different, except for the missions he sometimes took to distract himself and leave the village. This attitude caught the attention of his friends, who were worried about the boy's mental health. They all knew that he was hurt by the fact that Sakura had left the village with Sasuke, causing him a sadness that he could only fill with the same old activities. They had thought it would pass with time, but the days went by and there were no signs that he would get better soon. After seeing that time didn't help at all, they started calling him to go out in a group to distract him or at least make him feel better. But every time they approached him, he would simply show his old smile and say no, that he was busy with a matter or that he had to do something later, all cheap excuses so as not to be bothered. After that, they didn't see him around the village as often anymore. He mostly stayed in his room for weeks at a time, but then he would suddenly start training, eat something, and go back to his apartment. One day Shikamaru saw Naruto training, as he did every day, so he approached him. Shikamaru, when are you going to stop that attitude? Naruto, what attitude? Shikamaru, the usual, the one about distancing yourself from us. You're very distant, we haven't seen each other in months, you don't even want to go out with us anymore. Naruto, I'm busy, that's all. Shikamaru, it's always the same. Come on, follow me. Naruto, where to? Shikamaru, just follow me and no more questions. Naruto, but, Shikamaru, if you don't follow me, then I'll talk to Lady Tsunade. The sight of the blonde woman made Naruto shudder. He knew that the woman would show no mercy and would most likely give him the scolding of his life. Naruto, okay. As Naruto walked, he remembered when his friend came to visit him at his house along with Choji, but he almost always said that he was very tired. But when he decided to go to a meeting that his friends had made, when he was just one step away from entering, he turned around and left. He didn't want to hear from anyone because he didn't want them to see him like that. Sometimes he received letters from Sakura and Sasuke talking about their adventures far from Konoha, but after a while he crumpled them up and threw them in the trash. He simply didn't want to read what they had to say anymore. Sometimes he didn't even read them and just discarded them. At that moment, all she wanted to do was eat some more ramen and then go to sleep. That was her routine and no one was going to change that. However, now they had to because of Shikamaru's demands. She didn't even know where she would go. But as soon as she let her guard down, she would find the opportunity and leave. What she didn't know was what awaited her later, since at that moment they would find someone she never expected to see. Naruto spotted a head of blonde hair waiting outside a restaurant, looking all around until their eyes met. Naruto, INO? What's she doing here? INO was standing outside the restaurant, waiting for Shikamaru. She was annoyed with her friend for taking so long, and when she saw him, she frowned. INO, Shikamaru, why did you take so long? Huh? Naruto, what are you doing here? Shikamaru, don't worry INO, he'll be with us this time. Naruto, hello INO. INO, okay. But you pay her share, winking at him. Shikamaru, okay. My treat this time. The girl smiled before raising her fist in the air in a sign of victory. INO, okay. Let's go. He approached Naruto and grabbed his arm, dragging the boy into the restaurant. Naruto could only let himself be dragged along by the Yamanaka, while he watched Shikamaru smile about it. Upon entering, Naruto sat next to INO. They were all gathered around a circular table where Choji was eating in advance, while waiting for Shikamaru. The ninja ordered a plate to eat until the boys arrived. INO, Choji, don't be so rude. Come on. It's been a while since we've seen Naruto. Choji, I'm sorry, it's just that the food at this restaurant is delicious. INO sighed at that, while Shikamaru grabbed his head a little embarrassed. This made Naruto smile a little at his friend's attitude. Naruto, don't worry, if it were ramen it would be like this too. Both INO and Shikamaru were happy about this. Seeing the blonde boy smile gave them a feeling of satisfaction. They wanted their friend to relax and feel better. INO knew about Naruto's condition. She hadn't seen him in a long time, but she knew he wasn't well. When she realized that Shikamaru had brought Naruto, she understood his plan. The girl also wanted Naruto to feel comfortable, so she didn't say anything and dragged him to the restaurant. At least she had to contribute something. Shikamaru, okay, let's order something. Within a few hours, they had finished their plates of food. While there was a pitcher full of soda that everyone was drinking, they began to chat about all the things they were doing. Ino told them that she was now the sensei of a group of genin, while Naruto was surprised by the news the girl gave. After finishing her story, the boy congratulated Ino on her achievement of becoming a sensei, which she thanked him for. Naruto was still a genin, so he was a little embarrassed that his friends were advancing so quickly. Shikamaru told him that if he spoke to Lady Tsunade, that would be fixed, which the blonde took into account and nodded to his friend's proposition. Ino commented on Kakashi's new position, having become Hokage. Perhaps if the two of them talked to him, they could promote him very quickly. The blonde smiled at this, hoping it would be so. They continued talking until they got to the topic of dating. Some, like Choji, were lucky enough to have a partner abroad. Karui's name was heard at the table, making Naruto tremble. The shock on his face was visible when he heard that name. He really wondered how it had happened, but they quickly moved on to another topic. Only this time it was Shikamaru who made it clear that he would live with Temari in Konoha. They both agreed, since a long-distance relationship was difficult to maintain, although it was only a matter of time before he finished his duties in Tsunade. Ino is excited about the idea, as she finds it very romantic that they did this so they could be together. After all, distance shouldn't be an obstacle if they loved each other. Naruto, and what about you, Ino? The Yamanaka girl's ears clearly heard the blonde boy's words. Her body tensed as she realized she was the only one on her team who had no one, and she lowered her head in sadness. Shikamaru, relax, Ino, don't worry about it. Naruto, did I say something wrong? Shikamaru, Ino hasn't dated anyone this whole time. Naruto, what about Sai? Ino, that idiot left. I haven't seen him in a long time. I thought we had something, but apparently not. Naruto, don't worry. Don't feel bad. I don't have a partner either. I've always been alone. Ino's eyes widened in shock when she heard him speak like that. Perhaps Naruto didn't realize it, or perhaps he said it intentionally to make her feel better. But the truth is that those words came to light. She smiled bitterly as she remembered that Naruto had been alone since his childhood. Naruto, well, thanks for the food, but I have to go. Ino, wait, aren't you going to stay? Naruto, well, I would, but I have to go train. I can't break my routine. Shikamaru, Naruto, are you still on about that? It's fine to train, but you can't neglect your social life. Naruto, don't worry, I won't. Choji, you're welcome to have dinner with us. We always come to eat at this restaurant on weekends. Naruto, great, see you later. Getting up, as she left the restaurant, she left behind an odd silence. Everyone was lost in thought until it was broken by the words of the Yamanaka. Ino, does Naruto always do that? Shikamaru, lately Ino, I see, that's bad. Choji, he always gets stuck in his routine, which consists of spending the whole morning in his room, going out to eat at Ichiraku, and then training. Shikamaru, that's right, every time we go after him he always gives us an excuse. That Naruto always gets away with it. Ino, that's a shame. Should someone help him? Shikamaru, why don't you do it? Ino, me? Shikamaru, you're the right person to do it. After all, since Sakura left you've been a little lonely. Choji, that's right, maybe you can help Naruto. The girl was surprised that her friends agreed that she should be the one to help Naruto. The two did not have a close enough relationship for him to listen to her. Unlike Shikamaru and Choji, she didn't have much of a relationship with him. Ino, and what makes them think I can do it? Shikamaru, well, that's just my opinion. You really don't have to do it. Besides, I have some doubts about your abilities in this situation. I thought I could handle it, but I realized it's best if you stay away. Ino, what are you saying? How can you doubt my abilities? In case you haven't noticed, I'm a Yamanaka. Shikamaru, are you sure? You really don't have the strength. Ino, of course A pause in his words made Ino notice how much her friend was playing along. She felt stupid for falling for it. Ino, he got up from his seat and left the restaurant. Choji, that was a silly thing. Shikamaru, yeah, I know, but what does it matter? Choji, I wondered if Naruto would recover. Naruto threw punches in the air to practice his taijutsu, while sweat ran down his forehead. His gaze fixed and in complete concentration made him not see the girl who was behind him. "Ino, you, Naruto, Ino. What are you doing here? We haven't seen each other in a while." "Ino, I know, but I'm here for something else." "Naruto, what?" "Ino, I want to tell you that." "Naruto, huh?" "Ino, let's have a date." "Naruto, what?" "Ino, of course, it's my treat this time, see you tomorrow." The girl's face showed pure dismay at having dared to invite a boy out. She hadn't really thought much about what she would say, but seeing the boy's attitude, she simply blurted out the first thing that came to mind. Couldn't be that bad, could it? And Chapter 2. Confusions. Konoha Park was filled with couples strolling with smiles on their faces, holding hands and talking about simple things or their future together, all while two blonde heads watched the scene. "Ino, I didn't think so many couples would come to the park." "Naruto, you're right, I think I should go." Ino grabbed the collar of his jacket before he could take another step. "Naruto, this is silly, we don't have that kind of relationship, we don't need to go on a date." "Ino, I know, but I promised you a date and I'm gonna keep it." "Naruto, why?" "Ino, because the boy squinted as he watched the girl searching for an answer, sighing at this reaction. "Naruto, you don't know why, right?" The blonde smiled while laughing nervously. "Ino, I thought that if I asked you out on a date you could break out of your old routine and have some fun." "Naruto, well, if that's true you should have bought me some ramen instead." "Ino, seriously, but you've been eating that for a while now, you should at least save it for a date." "Naruto, that's what I need to be happy." "Ino, you're so dense, we won't eat that." "Naruto, okay, then I'm leaving." "Ino, wait a second, stop walking. I know what you think about going to that fancy restaurant everyone's talking about. It's just around the corner from Tenten's house." "Naruto, step." "Ino, then let's go to the lake, the weather's lovely and we can." "Naruto, no." "Ino, okay, what do you think about us buying something and going to the hill where?" "Naruto, better do something else." Bam! A blow to the head made Naruto see stars as Ino's image distorted before his eyes. "Naruto, what's wrong with you? That hurt." "Ino, you deserve it, you've been rejecting all my plans the whole time. At least pretend to be more interested." "Naruto, but I didn't force you to do anything, you." "Ino, enough, you know I thought it might make you feel better if we went out together. But I realized it's not worth it if I'm the only one making an effort." "Naruto, wait, what do you mean?" "Ino, the date's over, you can leave if you want. I'm not going to beg you to stay." "Naruto, really?" "Ino, that's right, you're a total disaster. What's up with that attitude? You're not the Naruto you used to be. At least he'd be more fun right now." "Naruto, well, Ino, bye, see you." The girl's steps advanced slowly because she was confident that she had tried to help the blonde boy as much as she could. Perhaps she should have insisted more or stayed, but she wasn't that kind of person. She had really wasted a lot of time in her life trying to wait for something. All she wanted was to get home and take a shower, but first she would go grocery shopping. After buying everything she needed for her refrigerator, she left her clothes on the bed and headed to the shower. Water droplets fell down her body as old memories surfaced in her mind. She still thought about when she talked to Sakura and the lovely moments she had with her. She also remembered that it was Sakura who stopped fighting for Sasuke's love so that she could be with him. It hurt to admit it, but she was still a little in love with Sasuke. The boy was one of the things that made her love going to the academy, but whenever she wanted to talk to Sasuke, Sakura would get between them. In the end, I let him go, thinking it was for the best. Maybe I would have liked to have another childhood sweetheart, but you don't always get what you want. Despite that, I had to admit that sometimes I watched Naruto. She was a little envious that Sakura had two boys dying for her. Now that she saw Naruto again, he really wasn't bad by her standards. In fact, she might even consider being his partner if he changed his ugly attitude. Upon leaving the bathroom, Ino put on her underwear and bra, ready to put on her pajamas and watch television. However, what she didn't expect was to hear the voice of a certain blonde man. Naruto arrived at Ino's balcony, oblivious to the situation. "Naruto, Ino, are you there?" When the girl saw him, her face turned bright red, while he was surprised to see her in this situation, causing his face to heat up. "Ino, pervert." "Naruto, no, wait, A lamp flew straight at his face. Of course, the boy dodged it by grazing the object while other things intended to damage his face were going straight towards him. "Naruto, wait. Ino, NOO. Get out. You're an idiot. Pervert. Get out. Go away. Naruto did nothing but walk away from Ino's room, leaving his room while his brain processed everything that had happened. While Ino sat on her bed covering her face that burned with embarrassment. Ino, he saw me, he saw me, he saw me. Naruto jumped across the rooftops with his heart beating very fast. He wasn't really a pervert, but the mere word made his stomach churn, reminding him of Ero Sennin. The next morning, Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji were walking through the village. They had to be at the Hokage's office early, so they didn't get distracted by anything until they arrived. It was a surprise to everyone that Ino didn't speak the whole way, so they decided to fill the void while they went to their destination. Shikamaru, and you were able to help Naruto. Ino, don't talk to me about him. Choji, why? Ino, I said I don't want to talk. As he had said these words, a person fell in front of them while trying to speak slowly. Nerves overwhelmed him as he tried to do so. Naruto, I'm sorry. Ino turned her face away indignantly. Shikamaru, so what did you do to him? Naruto was about to speak, but Ino's furious glare stopped him in his tracks. The sweat on his head and the lump in his throat made him reconsider. Naruto, I was just really stupid. That's all. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow while Choji just stared at him. Ino walked past Naruto, not wanting to say anything, leaving him frozen in place. She didn't want to give up, so she turned to tell him how she felt. But as she did, a slap struck Naruto, turning his face. This surprised the ninjas, who hadn't expected her to do something like that. Ino, this is because of yesterday, and you also need to drop that act. Naruto, Ino. Snap out of it. Everyone is worried about you. You can't just ignore them forever. With those words, the girl left, leaving Naruto quieter than ever. Shikamaru, whatever you did, you'd better explain it to him, because it won't be easy. Choji, you didn't do anything strange to him, did you? Naruto, no. It was just a misunderstanding. Choji, okay, I believe you. Good luck. Naruto remained lost in thought, still not moving from his position as he remembered the slap. He stroked his cheek with his hand and turned to see where he was going. Naruto, fine, it's my fault, but I won't give up. I'll talk to you no matter what. Ino. In the Hokage's office, Kakashi was talking with the team about their next mission, which involved some of his colleagues. Sakura's name came up in the conversation. Afterward, they left to pack their things, and then, as they left the gates of Konoha, they ran into Naruto. Ino was surprised to see him again. She frowned to protest. However, the blonde boy anticipated her words. Naruto, I just wanted to say I'm really sorry for ruining our date. I'm sorry about last night. It really wasn't my intention. All I wanted was to apologize to you, but it didn't go according to plan, and especially not seeing how hard you tried to make me feel better. That's why I'll be waiting for you until you return. I'll visit the flower shop every day. Ino, every day? Naruto, that's right. I'll do that. Rain or shine, I'll be waiting for you. See you. Upon disappearing from the place, the group advanced until they exited the gates of Konoha. Shikamaru, that Naruto, he'll really do it. Choji, possibly. Ino, maybe I was too hard on him. Shikamaru, maybe remember that he's not a bad person. Ino, yes, you're right. I think I was too harsh on him. Shikamaru, well, we have to go. We need to meet up with Sakura and Sasuke. Everyone good. And with a leap, they disappeared, heading towards the meeting point. And Chapter 3, Reunion. Sakura was waiting for Ino's arrival when Sasuke informed her that they would be supporting her on this mission. Several ninjas had been poisoned or injured, so they would be in charge of bringing medicine, bandages, and antidotes. Since yesterday, Sakura had been waiting for her friend's arrival, and as she left the village where she was, she squinted to see 3 figures approaching. Her smile began to widen when she recognized her friend's blonde hair. She raised her hand to greet them, and upon seeing her, they raised their hands in response, getting closer and closer. Ino hugged her friend. She was happy that they could meet after so long. Sakura was excited that she was coming to the village. She had many things to tell her. Ino, Sakura, you're alive. Sakura, haha, very funny. Ino, well, I missed you, silly. Sakura, me too. Let me tell you everything that happened. Ino, yes, of course. Shikamaru. Sorry to interrupt, but we have things to do. Sakura. I'm sorry, Shikamaru. The doctors are in the village. You can go and give them the information. They know what to do. Shikamaru. Okay, let's go, Choji. Choji. Yes, see you, Sakura. Sakura. Thanks, guys. See you. Ino watched her friends enter the village. As they disappeared from sight, she turned her gaze back to Sakura. Sakura. So, how have you been? Ino. Well, not much really happened in Konoha, but I just started working as a sensei. Sakura. Seriously, that's amazing. Ino. Of course, but what about you? Sakura. Well, now I'm Sasuke-kun's girlfriend. Ino. Seriously, so you're a couple now? How long have you been together? Sakura. It's been 6 months, and we're getting married, Kaya. Ino watched her friend smile with happiness. She was sure that this was always what she wanted. Ino. Congratulations, Sakura. I'm happy for you. Sakura. Thank you, but what about you? Do you have someone special? Ino's reaction was a noticeable blush. She really didn't have anyone. She had already gone out with some guys and it didn't work out. Shikamaru knew it, Choji knew it, and hell, Naruto knew it too, which made her feel ashamed. Sakura. Ah, there's someone. Come on. Tell me, who are you dating? Ino. Naruto. Sakura. What? Ino. I said Naruto. I went out with him. Turning her gaze away. Embarrassed. Sakura. Seriously, with Naruto? But he doesn't date anyone. Ino. Well, it seems he does now. I didn't really want to say it like this, but the truth was that technically they had a date, although not a very good one, but they did have one. Also, they were going out a couple of times with Shikamaru and Choji. Sakura. Well, if you're happy, I'm happy for you. Ino. Thank you. While sweating because of it, upon arriving in Konoha, I would tell Naruto about this. Hopefully, this won't get out of hand. Sakura. By the way, how is he? We've sent him some letters, but he hasn't replied. Ino. Well, I think he's training, maybe that's what it was, but you should talk to him. Sakura. Why? Ino. He's your friend. He'll probably tell you something. I really don't want to get involved, but changing the subject, when is the wedding? Sakura smiled at the question. She was happy that she was going to marry her childhood sweetheart. Sakura. We'll get married when we arrive in Konoha. The wedding will be in a month, so you'll be my maid of honor. Ino. Yes. You'll see. I'll be a great bridesmaid. Sakura. Perfect. A voice called them from afar. It was Shikamaru, who was calling the girls. They had to enter one of the shops to help one of the patients, to which they agreed. The girls approached Shikamaru when he told her he wanted to talk to her, which she understood, and she let Sakura go attend to the other patients. Shikamaru. Did you hear they're getting married? Ino. Who told you that? Shikamaru. Sasuke. Ino. You met him. Shikamaru. Yes, I just spoke with him. Tell me, how do you feel about the news? Ino. Well, I don't really have much to say, but I did think about my situation and realized something. Shikamaru. What did you realize? Ino. Well, I think what we had is over, although I'm not really sure if there was anything between us. Maybe it was just a childhood fantasy. Shikamaru. Seriously? And you're only realizing this now? Ino. Haha, very funny. Well, the truth is I thought it was love or that I still felt things for him, but when I heard the news that he was marrying Sakura, I really didn't feel anything, not even jealousy or anything like that. Shikamaru. I guess you understood. I was worried you were still going on about it. Ino. Don't worry, I understand now. I prefer Sakura to be with him. I really wish him the best of luck. Shikamaru. Good. I'm glad. What about Naruto? Ino. What about him? Shikamaru. Are you still angry with him? Ino sighed at that, thinking the blonde guy was troublesome. Ino. Well, I really think it was a misunderstanding. After all, it's Naruto. Shikamaru smiled at that. He knew these two could be stubborn, but whenever he thought something bad was going to happen between them, something would happen that changed his perspective. Ino. Well, that's all. I didn't know you were worried about my love life. Shikamaru. What are you saying? Ever since your father died, he made me promise to take care of you. Ino. Did he really do that? Shikamaru. Yes, he even said he'd make sure you married someone. Ino. Even from the other side, she's capable of doing that. Shikamaru. Let's go. Ino. Shikamaru. A question. Shikamaru. Yes? Ino. What do you think about me dating Naruto? Do you think anything could happen? The boy watched the blonde while performing a brief analysis. INO, well, tell me what your answer would be. Shikamaru, no. INO, seriously, well I think I already knew that. Shikamaru, but when it comes to Naruto, anything can happen. If you like him, I think I can guarantee you'd be very happy, but only if you decide to. INO, wait, and why did you say no if that's what you think? Shikamaru, I don't really want to tell you right now, but if you overcome the barriers, I think you'll understand. INO, what does that mean? The boy was walking to meet his friends when the Yamanaka girl started shouting his name to make him back up and give her an explanation. However, that didn't happen, leaving INO dismayed by what he said. INO, Shikamaru, what does that mean? Upon reuniting with his teammates, Sasuke greeted the blonde while everyone prepared their things to feel more comfortable. They were working to help the injured while being observed by doctors to supplement their efforts and ensure that everything was all right. The others could go and track down the rogue ninjas to get answers and make them pay for attacking them. Sasuke was surprised at how well INO performed in the medical field. He remembered that annoying girl who was always bothering him about a date, but when he saw her again, that didn't happen. Maybe because he knew he was going to marry his friend, but the distance seemed strange to him. A few years ago, he would have had the freedom to have more women, but with the Karen situation, he really doubted it. The kunoichi escaped his sight at a time in his life when he was confused, and he regretted not having her by his side. He truly felt genuine affection for the redhead, but now he had Sakura, the girl who had also always been in love with him. Now he could make her happy even if it was a nuisance to have to do so many things to keep her cheerful. All he wanted was to have a girl in his life who could give him the children necessary to rebuild his clan and once again have the prestige of his clan and be feared by the villages. Upon seeing INO, he felt he could do it with her. Perhaps if Sakura didn't interfere in his affairs and if he could somehow have more wives, she would certainly be one of the chosen ones. But he left that matter aside and focused on the one who was now going to be his wife. Meanwhile, in Konoha, the lives of the ninjas had turned out as usual, except for one person who was looking for Lady Tsunade at the hospital. The office door was suddenly opened, revealing the blonde man with his big smile. Naruto, Grandma. Tsunade, Naruto? Are you here? You're not training. Naruto, what a way to greet me like this. Shizune, who was standing next to Tsunade, was surprised to see him. Tsunade, insolent one, you dare to distance yourself from us and then after a year you return as if nothing happened. Naruto, I'm sorry. Shizune, I'm glad to see you, Naruto. Naruto, yes, I'm happy to visit them too. Tsunade, well, not me. Now you're gonna tell me what's on your mind. Naruto, wow, it really bothered you, didn't it? Tsunade, of course you had me worried. Naruto, yeah, I didn't know it would be so serious. Tsunade, of course it is, at least for me, that hurt me. I thought you felt bad because of me. Naruto, that's not how it works. Tsunade, of course it is. I had no idea that the mission I sent to that village would take so long that they decided to stay. Shizune, Lady Tsunade, it happened so fast. No one believed things would turn out this way. Naruto, don't blame yourself, Grandma. You sent the ninjas who were available. Sadly, I was on a mission. Besides, they were summoned, but sooner or later they were going to be together. Tsunade, you're right, but, Naruto, forget it, I came for something else. I don't really blame you or anything. After Kakashi took command, I understood that the Hokage must make decisions, and you did. Tsunade, but, Naruto, honestly, I think I should just quit. You know, someone reminded me that I can't be like this forever, so I'm gonna fix things. Shizune, Naruto, I'm happy for you. Tsunade, thank you. It may not be enough, but I'm sorry. I should have been there for you. Naruto, don't worry. I ended up distancing myself from many people I didn't think would affect me so much. But I think it's time to break free from the routine and distance and dedicate myself to my dream of becoming Hokage. Tsunade, fine. I know you'll do it. But what was the reason you reacted? Naruto's hand touched his cheek, and he made a face that confused the girls, who rarely saw such a thing on the blonde boy's face. Naruto, it was INO. She said it wasn't the same. Tsunade, INO? What do you mean? Naruto, well, we had a date. Tsunade and Shizune. What? Tsunade, what do you mean you invited her? Shizune, she told you to go out again. Tsunade, they kissed. Naruto, no, actually I think he hates me. Tsunade, so what did you do to him? Naruto, well, I can't really say, but I want to do something special for her. Shizune, that's why you came. Naruto, that's right. Tsunade, there's a restaurant everyone's talking about. I think it's Naruto, another thing. Tsunade, let me finish. Naruto, Ino suggested that to me and I refused. She'll be upset if I invite her there. Shizune, seriously, you're quite a character. But don't you have a special place to take her? Naruto's brain sparked amidst all his neurons. Just like that, he came up with something that might work. Naruto, I've got it. Thanks to both of you, I know where we could have our date. Shizune, are you sure? Naruto, yeah, see you later. I'm going to. Tsunade, just a moment. Young man, you and I need to talk. Naruto, does it have to be now? Tsunade, that's right. So sit down, it's time to catch up. Several hours had passed since they arrived at the place. The boys began to settle in. After a few hours, night had arrived and everyone was ready to go to sleep. The village had a few huts they could go into. Luckily for Sakura, she would sleep with Ino, so they could talk all night while the boys slept separately in another room, leaving a good day for everyone. And Chapter 4, Interest. Sasuke was walking to see Sakura. He headed to her room to talk to her. However, the one he found was Ino, who was tidying up the room. He wasn't really going to be there for long, a day or two at least, so he packed his luggage just in case, so that he could leave at any moment with his team. Sasuke, where is Sakura? Ino, she left with Shikamaru and Choji. She'll surely be back soon. Sasuke, I understand. Ino, but tell me, what do you need? Maybe I can help you. Sasuke, I need to go to the lake. I saw some strange movements and I want to go explore. Ino, why not call the other ninjas? Sasuke, in this place I really can't trust the other ninjas. Ino, is it that serious? Sasuke, yes. Ino, okay, I'll go with you. Sasuke, let's go. They had both gone to the lake, waiting among the bushes, observing all around. They saw a group of people approaching. They saw that they were some ninjas from the mist. These had marked headbands. But after a few seconds, some ninjas from Konoha came and spoke with them. As Sasuke suspected, there were traitors among those who were helping him on this mission. He lunged at them. The ninjas' gazes shifted to the bushes where Sasuke appeared with his sword. Several cuts appeared in the battle. The 7 mist ninjas were struck and cut, while the Konoha ninjas decided to flee upon seeing who it was. But their path was blocked by a certain Kunoichi who launched an attack, brandishing her kunai. She faced 3 of them, managing to land accurate blows. One by one they fell until they were all on the ground, unconscious of reality. Sasuke watched Ino perform in the battle. He approached one of the bodies, checking their pulses to see they were still alive. He looked at the girl's face, who smiled at him. His thoughts wandered to various moments of his childhood. She had really changed. Before, she wouldn't have been able to do much, or so he remembered from when they were children. However, seeing her again surprised him. He also noticed the beauty that surrounded her, something that aroused a certain interest. Their thoughts were interrupted when Ino screamed at him. The girl ran to his side and pushed him away from the ninjas. One of those who approached Sasuke committed suicide and exploded with his friends, leaving the 2 of them in total surprise. Ino fell next to Sasuke, who saw the scene. Ino, are you okay? Sasuke said nothing and simply stood up, observing the explosion. The girl did the same, watching the scene. Sasuke, we must leave with the remaining bodies. To which the blonde felt. Upon arriving at the village, several wondered about the bodies that Ino and Sasuke had brought, to which they commented on what had happened. Everyone was surprised but understood the situation. Shikamaru and his teammates had to return to Konoha to give the information to Kakashi, which they accepted, so they would leave today. Sakura said goodbye to her friend and to Shikamaru and Choji, as did Sasuke. When the boys left for Konoha, Sasuke was thinking about Ino, who still seemed interesting to him. Until now, his concept of her had been wrong. A noisy and annoying girl. But now that he had seen her, she was different from the girl he had met in the village. Sakura approached Sasuke, taking his arm, and with a smile looked one last time at where they had left. Sakura, I was happy to see Ino. Sasuke, me too, smiling. Flashback. In Konoha a year ago, the clan council and Kakashi were discussing Sasuke's clan, given the injustices that had resulted in some clans disappearing for not entering the clan restoration program. Sasuke was offered the opportunity to do so, and he was happy, as doing so would mean the rise of his clan. confident that Karen would accept, since she was his current partner recently. Nobody knew this news and wanted to keep it that way until the right moment. But what he never thought would happen was that Karen would leave his life without saying anything, at a key moment in his life. He didn't know the reason, or that's what he wanted to believe. A few months passed during which he was with another partner. In this case, it was Sakura who insisted on having a relationship with him, so he would have to go through the procedures and talk to the council. Sakura knew that he had to be the clan leader and have more wives, so she accepted that she could be the one to initiate him. However, she knew little about that program and hoped that his heart belonged to her and that no one else could take his place. But that was something that could make her doubt. End of flashback. Sasuke, let's go. Sakura. Okay. Do you think we can go back to Konoha? Sasuke, we'll definitely go soon. Sakura. Okay, smiling. A day had passed when they arrived in Konoha. Team 11 went directly to Kakashi to discuss the mission situation. They talked for a while until Kakashi finished and sent the ANBU to support Sasuke and Sakura. He then dismissed the team from the office, telling them to take the day off to rest, which they all accepted and left. INO was about to arrive home. She wanted to open the door, but she heard some laughter which made her stop. Something that seemed strange to her was that only her mother was there and she didn't receive many visitors. A few seconds later, she heard another voice. She opened the door and upon entering, she saw a familiar blonde head of hair. INO, Naruto, what are you doing here? Naruto, hello INO-chan. This made the girl blush, as she was expecting the nickname. INO, wait, what's wrong? Mom? INO's mother, who saw her daughter's surprise, smiled at her. Mrs. Yamanaka, welcome home. Naruto was just keeping me company since you left. INO, what do you mean? Mrs. Yamanaka, you have a very considerate boyfriend. Don't let him go. INO, boyfriend? The blonde looked at Naruto, who turned his gaze away. As this was happening, INO, in a sweet voice, called Naruto outside her house to talk. The blonde nodded, saying goodbye to INO's mother as he accompanied the girl. The Yamanaka wanted an explanation. She really didn't understand what was happening, so she demanded an answer. Naruto, well, I went to visit the flower shop, but I didn't find you, so I decided to leave. But then I saw your mother with a lot of bags, so I helped her. INO, seriously, my mom let you help her. Naruto, yes, I told him I was Naruto Uzumaki and that I came to find you. INO, and then what happened? Naruto, well, she asked me, why are you looking for me? So I told her it was for a date. INO, what? You said that to him? Naruto, yes. She was delighted to receive me. I was going to explain, but she seemed so excited that I didn't dare tell her the truth. INO hit her face with her hand because of the boy's recklessness. Naruto, I'm sorry. INO, don't worry, it doesn't matter. She's probably excited that her little girl is dating a boy. Naruto, well, since you're here, how about we go out tomorrow? INO, tomorrow? Naruto, that's right. I'd like to reward you for everything. The blonde was somewhat hesitant. Did he really want to go on a date with her? Then she remembered he was only there to apologize. INO, it's not necessary. I did it to help you break out of your routine, and I understand it was a misunderstanding, so you don't need to do that. Naruto, seriously, then you'll excuse me. The girl smiled at him. INO, that's right, when you gave me your explanation at the entrance before leaving, I was thinking and I understood that you wanted to apologize. Although entering my room without my permission isn't the best way. Naruto, I'm sorry. I won't do it without your permission. The blonde's cheeks flushed. Upon hearing those words, she imagined for a moment that there would be another time, but with her permission. INO, what are you saying? That's something. Naruto, huh? INO, nothing. Naruto, well anyway, I want to go on a date with you. INO, I already told you it's not necessary. Naruto, I know, but you can't go out with the most beautiful flower in Konoha very often. Her heart was beating very fast because of the blonde man's sincerity. He really did say everything he thought. Naruto, so what do you say? The girl was embarrassed. She knew this must be a mistake, but the blonde man's sincere voice and those eyes that left no doubt about his word convinced the kunoichi. INO, okay, I accept. And Chapter 5, The Appointment. The sun shone through the leaves of the forest, revealing the footsteps of two blonde youths, who were silent. It was a surprise for INO to arrive here, She didn't usually venture out to these parts. However, intrigued by what they had planned, she decided to accept. She watched Naruto's back as she followed behind him. It seemed he knew where they had gone, so she decided to put aside her nervousness of waiting. When he stopped, she saw him turn around, smile, and show her the landscape before them. Ino was amazed by the sight. The flowers in front of her were beautiful. It was a lovely surprise. She let herself be carried away by the atmosphere, breathed in the soft aroma, and relaxed. She noticed Naruto looking at her affectionately, which made her blush. "Naruto, come with me." "Ino, if..." The blonde man held out his hand to her, leading her hand around the flowers until they reached a blanket with a basket of food on top. He wanted to give her a beautiful view of the flowers while they ate and chatted. At least that's what Ino thought, who was delighted with the idea. "Ino, I like the idea you had. I didn't know you were so detail-oriented." "Naruto, well, I really wanted to make sure you had a good time." "Ino, yes. Believe me, you did it. This is beautiful." "Naruto, I know. I also prepared some things to eat." "Ino, ramen?" "Naruto, no, nothing like that, although it would be a good idea for our next date." "Ino, will there be a next time?" Smiling, the boy got nervous about that. He was actually planning another date, although he didn't want to say so, but his plans slipped out. "Naruto, I don't know, maybe?" Ino smiled to herself. She had really put the boy on the spot, although she liked that. She didn't really want to intimidate him so quickly, so she let it go. They helped themselves to everything in the basket while they talked about their plans for the future and the trivial things in their lives. When they finished, they saw the flowers. The place seemed unfamiliar. She analyzed the place and concluded that no one had ever been here, or at least that's what it seemed. Ino's resolve was correct. Not many people knew the place, so Naruto proceeded to explain the significance of bringing her here, since when he was little, it had been a refuge for him in his most frightening days, due to the presence of the villagers who hated him to death. "Naruto, I still remember when I first came here. I was a scared kid who wanted to rest after a savage beating." Ino looked at him curiously. She was astonished to know something like that, but she didn't say anything. She wanted to listen, so she just paid attention to everything the boy said. "Naruto, when I arrived, I fell asleep in the middle of the flowers due to exhaustion. I was trying to breathe, but in the end I managed to faint. It was curious that the aroma of those flowers woke me up in the end. When I did, for some reason the blows didn't hurt so much anymore and the soft aroma relaxed my body. From that moment I came regularly, although it's been a few years since I last returned for fear that they would see me enter here and discover the place. After that, I didn't come back until now." Ino didn't know what to say. She was truly dismayed by the story. Finding out about it and then thinking about what to say didn't seem easy. "Ino, I'm sorry to hear that, Naruto. You must not have had a good time." "Naruto, don't worry, I'm over it, but what I'm trying to say is that I thought about flowers a lot back then, and I came to like them a lot, although I think only lilacs resemble you." "Ino, seriously? You think so?" Blushing, "Naruto, the reason I'm telling you this and showing you this place is because it's really important to me, and I wanted you to see it." "Ino, thank you for your trust." "Naruto, I must thank you for trying to help me. I was truly foolish not to appreciate what you did for me, and for that, thank you." "Ino, don't worry, just don't be a fool." "Naruto, never again." "Ino, that's good." "Naruto, Ino, I was wondering if you..." "Ino, yes, me?" "Naruto, if we can be friends." The shock was for Ino, who did not expect such a request. She really thought he would ask her for something else, but seeing how nervous his face was when he looked into her eyes, she couldn't say anything else. "Ino, sure." A little disappointed, "Naruto, okay," smiling. "Ino, but I thought we were friends." "Naruto, is that so?" "Ino, wait, did you think we weren't?" "Naruto, okay." The girl laughed at her friend's absurd thought. "Ino, you're a baka." "Naruto, we don't really have much time to go out." "Ino, that's true, although I already had it secured. I suppose you didn't. I don't know how to feel about it." "Naruto, I'm sorry, it's my fault." "Ino, don't worry, if you feel better that way, it's fine with me." "Naruto, really? Okay, thanks, Ino-chan." "Ino, okay, Naruto-kun." Ino and Naruto smiled at the affectionate nicknames. "Naruto, I know it's too soon to say this, but do you think we could hang out once in a while?" The girl saw Naruto get nervous again, But seeing that it would be an opportunity to meet the blonde boy, she decided to accept, which made Naruto very excited. When they finished, the two of them got up and looked at the landscape one last time before leaving the place. As she left, she felt relaxed and calm, simply enjoying the feeling of peace. As she walked, in a slight movement, the girl took Naruto's arm while he looked at her, blushing. "Ino, I'm sorry, Naruto, you can take it if you want. After all, it's a date." This last thing made him hide his face by turning it slightly so that Ino wouldn't see him, but Naruto's actions made Ino feel better, and she took him at his word. Perhaps it was the scenery, maybe the feeling of being calm, but without a doubt, it was a strange feeling that was growing in her heart. Being so close to Ino caused Naruto's heartbeat to accelerate more and more. However, he could notice something peculiar about her. He noticed the girl's sweet perfume, which managed to permeate his senses, and the girl from every angle was very beautiful, which only made him nervous. They arrived at the Konoha stalls where they saw a man promoting his stall. There were some games to win plushies. They were colorful bears, which were blue, brown, yellow, and pink. The yellow bear was what attracted Ino, but she didn't say anything until they got there. Naruto found it fun to try and win one of them, so when he arrived at the store, he observed the brown and blue bears that had been acquired by some people, leaving the yellow and pink ones as the only ones in the stall. "Sir, all you have to do is hit the bottle with these rings. If at least one goes in, you'll win a bear." Naruto was determined to win, at least to get one of those rings into the neck of a bottle. He took a ring and threw it, but it didn't work. Instead, it hit and bounced to the ground. He did the same with the rest, and it was the same result. Until he had the last one left, he had to hit it if he didn't want to lose. He fixed his eyes on the blonde who was crying like a puppy, begging for that plushie. He took a breath and concentrated, making a slight change of wrist at the last moment. He did it as accurately as he could, and by a stroke of luck, he got it right. Everyone shouted in surprise, and the man had to hand over one of the bears. Ino knew perfectly well that yellow was the chosen one, but she wanted to find out which one Naruto would choose. She had a strange feeling about the pink bear. It seemed familiar. On the other hand, Naruto was undecided about which bear he should give to Ino. He knew that one of them had to be to her liking, but which one? It would be that pink bear that seemed to have some cuteness. It seemed good for Ino. Then there was yellow, which seemed very cheerful and fun. So she left it to chance and chose what her heart and instinct told her. The guy handed the bear to the boy. "Naruto, here, I hope you like it." Ino opened her eyes in surprise at the bear Naruto had chosen. "Ino, it's the yellow bear." "Naruto, don't you like it? If you want, we can change it." "Ino, no. I love it." The blonde hugged the bear tightly, feeling good about its softness. Naruto was happy he had made the right choice. They went to a few stalls to see what was new. When they passed by, a group of couples were in a small parade where the couples held hands until they reached a small square where they danced and enjoyed the atmosphere. Ino watched in amazement. She liked that there was this type of event. She felt a soft touch between her fingers. It was Naruto who took her hand and asked if she wanted to go. This made the girl blush, and she accepted the boy's request. They followed the couples until they reached the plaza, where they danced for a while until nightfall. Upon leaving the festival, Naruto accompanied her to her house, where they both saw each other face to face. "Ino, I enjoyed spending the day with you. It was very nice." "Naruto, yes, I liked it too." "Ino, it was fun." "Naruto, I'm glad you enjoyed the ride. That's what friends are like." Ino felt a little disappointed by that. She had had so much fun that she didn't want to leave things as just friends. Her mom, Sakura, and surely most of them would be gossiping about their relationship. Surely many would think they were dating, so she was really interested in the idea of being something more. "Ino, sure, although if you had asked me for something more than friendship, I wouldn't have refused." The blonde approached the boy and gave him a kiss on the cheek, which made Naruto blush. The girl's words left him very shocked. Ino opened her door and went inside her house. She was nervous about what she had done, but she went to one of the windows, opened the curtain, and saw Naruto walking slowly with a big smile. And Chapter 6. Rescuing Karen. Kakashi was thinking about the ninjas who would go in response to the villagers' request to help Karen. Apparently, the girl was in trouble, and based on the information he had been given, her name and characteristics matched her. He already knew her by sight, so he knew she was Sasuke's teammate. He had thought about calling Sasuke to come in person since the two boys knew each other and had been on the same team in the past. But after thinking it over, he realized that with his mission outside of Konoha, it wasn't convenient. It was then that out of curiosity she thought of Naruto. He had been very unwell a few times, although if it was about missions, he would certainly accept to do it. It was then that she thought of INO, who could be his medical reinforcement, and so that Naruto would feel confident. Sai would go with them. Having formed the team, I sent for them, and within minutes, the three arrived at the office and were surprised to find themselves together again. Kakashi. Very well. You are the rescue group. Your mission is to help Karen. We don't know what condition she is in, so if she has any problems, don't hesitate to bring her here. INO. Karen? Kakashi. That's right, he was last seen outside of Konoha in a small village. The location is on this scroll. Kakashi pointed to the object that was on his table. Kakashi. His mission is to help in any way he can and keep her safe. They all nodded in agreement and left the office. Naruto was worried. He hadn't expected to have a mission today, but if it was to rescue someone, then it was well worth the effort. On the other hand, INO was angry and uncomfortable with the situation. She didn't like seeing Sai after all this time. Sai looked at INO as his discomfort grew. Seeing her gaze, he hesitated a little, but he managed to hide it. After a few hours, the group split up and met again outside Konoha with all their things ready, whether medical tools, weapons, etc. The blonde was still annoyed and made it clear to Sai with her many expressions of displeasure, which the boy noticed. Naruto watched the situation from afar, until he remembered that INO and Sai had gone out a while ago. Certainly the blonde felt that he was out of place, so he said nothing for the moment. Everyone left, leaving the village behind. On the way, Naruto saw INO, who was slightly annoyed, looking at Sai, who was further ahead, and could see his back. Naruto, are you okay? INO, what? Naruto. I said, are you okay? You don't look like yourself. INO, leave it, it's better this way. Naruto, I think you should talk to Sai. INO. Huh. Naruto. Yeah, they both dated and had a history. If they're gonna break up, it's better to do it directly and not with distance. INO, but, Naruto. Believe me, it's better to tell them how you feel and not take it for granted like, I know. The boy went ahead of INO to let her think. Although deep down he didn't like the idea of seeing her suffer for talking to his friend. Even though he knew it was better to clear things up and have closure. Because after all, if he had told Sakura everything he felt, it would have been much better than distancing himself from her and telling her with a fake smile that everything was fine. Even though he didn't regret what he had done, or at least he tried not to, since he wanted to let her be happy with her friend. So she knew that if she had confessed to him before that, at least she would know what would have happened. At least she would have an answer, although she knew it was possibly a no. She wanted to try, to know what he would say. However, she didn't have the courage because deep down she felt afraid. Fear of feeling alone, of being separated from the girl he loved most. At least having her as a friend would be enough to remember the feeling of her company, even if only as friends. Although it was all for nothing since Sakura had left. She had moved away from him, and therefore there was no point in continuing to suffer for her. At least that's what reason, which he rarely listened to, told him. INO watched as Naruto walked ahead, lost in thought about the boy's words. But she didn't want to back down. She was so sure of what she was doing that she was still debating her options. That's when she thought of the last word. I'll know. Maybe there was some truth to it. In a villager's house, Karen was lying on the floor. Several people wanted to help her but couldn't because she was badly injured. They were sure the girl needed urgent attention, although they didn't have the materials to do so. An explosion was heard very close by. The ninjas who had attacked the villagers and Karen were eliminated one by one. The cuts and blood were the spectacle of the fight that did not last long. Some fled, letting Naruto, INO, and Sai advance. Upon entering, the villagers observed that they were the Konoha ninjas they had requested. Letting them into the house, they showed her where they had put Karen, so INO went ahead and took some things out of her backpack, such as special threads to suture some wounds and with the medical jutsu to at least stabilize her. Naruto and Sai were outside guarding the place. They knew they had to be alert in case something happened. However, hours passed and nothing happened. Surely they had already informed him of their arrival. Therefore, many would leave carefully. In the midst of the silence, one of them began to speak. Sai, it's good to see you back. Naruto, well, it's not like I don't do missions. but it's good to see you too. Sigh. Tell me, will you leave us? Will you seclude yourself again? Naruto. What do you mean? Sigh, you distanced yourself from us for a year. It would be sad if after leaving you did it again. Naruto. They won't leave me alone for doing that, will they? Sigh. I don't think so, smiling. Naruto. For now I'm fine. Although I couldn't say that about you. Sigh, what are you talking about? Naruto. What's wrong with you and Ino? She seems really angry. Sigh, yes, I think so. Naruto. So what are you waiting for? Sigh, Naruto, you should talk to her. Sigh. Do you think so? Naruto. If you don't want anything to do with her anymore, or if you do, you should clear things up. Sigh. I see. But what if he doesn't listen to me? Naruto, find a way. The blonde man looked at the sky, waiting for something. Naruto. If I were you, I'd do anything to clear things up. Sai remained silent, listening attentively to his friend's words. Naruto. You know why? Because that way I wouldn't regret it. Sai was silent. He knew that the blonde man didn't speak in vain. Much less would he get involved in something like this if he didn't care. So he also looked at the sky. Ino had finished healing Karen and was satisfied with the result, although they should take her to Konoha to be examined. Karen woke up and saw Ino. Karen, where am I? What happened? Ino, don't worry, you're fine. I came to give you medical attention. Karen, did it go that badly? Ino, you shouldn't have risked facing the ninjas alone. You could have asked for help. Karen, to whom? To Konoha, no thanks. Ino, why are you talking like that? What's wrong with it? Karen, nothing, just leave it. Ino, no, you already spoke, now say it. Karen, it's because of Sasuke. Ino, Sasuke? What does that have to do with anything? Karen, what? Didn't she tell you? Ino, what? Karen, that he and I were together. Ino, what? Naruto and Sai entered the room after hearing Ino's screams. Naruto from Game 1 Cyclones to guard outside while the two went in. Naruto, what's going on? Sai, are you okay? Ino, yes, sorry, it's okay. Naruto, you're awake, Karen. Karen, yes, thank you for your help. Sai, of course, anyway we should go to Konoha. They'll treat you better there. Naruto, that's right, Karen. I'll carry you on my back. What do you say? Karen, no, I don't want to go to Konoha. Naruto, why? Ino, guys, it seems Karen has something to tell us, right? You can trust us. The redhead sighed at that. Karen, you see, I don't want to go to Konoha since I was Sasuke's girlfriend. Naruto, girlfriend? Karen, yes, we were together for a while, but it became impossible for me and I broke up with him. Sai, but what happened? Karen, I don't want to say it, but just know that I don't want to see him. If I go, it's very likely he won't let me go and will want me to be with him, even if I don't want to anymore. Ino, that must have been difficult for you. Karen, I was on the run for a while, hiding my tracks so he wouldn't find me. Then it got easier, although one way or another I think he stopped following me for a while and I want to keep it that way. Naruto, don't worry, I'm sure he won't do it again. He's with Sakura now. Ino, they're dating. Karen, are they? Well, if so, it won't be good for her at all. Ino, what do you mean? Karen, Sasuke doesn't love anyone but himself. He might deceive you into believing him and not leaving him. In the end, his only goal, or what he believes is his duty, is to restore his clan. Sai, is that true? Karen, have you heard about the clan restoration program? Ino, no. Sai, no. Naruto, yes. Everyone stared at the blonde man. Naruto, they suggested it to me once, but I refused. Even so, they kept insisting, but I ignored them. Karen, wow, you're the first person I've heard say that. Ino, Naruto, if that's true, your clan would disappear. Naruto, maybe, but I don't want someone by my side just because my clan would disappear. Ino, Naruto. Karen, exactly, it's easier on a sentimental level to start with girls you like and then be able to continue increasing with more girls, but that's precisely what Sasuke wanted to do with me. Ino, did you love him? Karen, yes, but he did many things I didn't like. I would have accepted it, in fact I did, but then something changed. Something made him different, so I couldn't stand it and I left. That's why I don't want to go back. I'm afraid that if I do, I'll fall into that again. Sai, Sasuke isn't in Konoha and I doubt he'll be back anytime soon. Karen, huh? Ino, Sasuke and Sakura are on a mission. They haven't returned in over a year and I doubt they will. At least until Kakashi-sensei says otherwise. So don't worry, you'll be fine. Your health comes first. Naruto. That's right, Karen-chan. I'll protect you. I won't let that team hurt you, Karen. Naruto. Very well. I'll trust you, but if I sense Sasuke's chakra I'll leave. I don't care what anyone says. Naruto. Sure. If that happens I'll bring you back myself. Karen. Okay. INO, rest for a while. After a few hours Karen fell asleep while they left the room to talk to the villagers who were asking for an explanation, which they managed to answer and they felt relieved. Hours had passed and the boys had already settled in, where night was falling, leaving the ninjas to prepare for sleep and take up guard to protect the place. Sai was going to be the first, then INO, and then Naruto. Sai, who was keeping watch, realized that the night had passed quietly and without much happening, until it was INO's turn. The two looked at each other, leaving an awkward silence, which ended with Sai's words, knowing what was coming. Sai, wait, INO. I wanted to talk to INO. INO, with me? About what? Sai, about us. INO, that already happened. Sai, I know, but Naruto told me that I shouldn't take anything for granted and that it's best to clarify it. INO, Naruto? Sai, that's right. And will you listen to me? INO remembered what Naruto had said. It was practically the same words, so she decided to listen to him. INO continues, Sai, I apologize for leaving. I really thought it was for the best. A few moments of silence followed when the boy stopped talking for a few moments, waiting for something more. INO, is that all? Sai, aren't you going to forgive me? INO, should I? We were dating, we got along well, and then out of nowhere you disappeared. You ignored me until now. At least give me an explanation. Sai, it was because of you. INO, what did you say? Sai, I left because of you. We had gone out several times, and to a certain extent she understood everything. I liked you, INO, but I wasn't very good at expressing it, and because I read that you liked me too. INO, so why the distancing? Sai, I can still remember it. Flashback. INO was walking with Sakura to go see Shikamaru. They were seen by Sai, who was on a rooftop drawing the landscape. When he saw them, he wanted to greet them, but he saw them talking. He didn't want to interrupt until he heard his name from INO's lips, so he started to follow them, hiding his presence. INO, don't you think Sai is cute? He's really attractive. Sakura, it seems you really like him. INO, well, yes, he does look a bit like Sasuke. Sakura, well, if you say so, but apart from that, I'd like to ask you something. INO, yes, tell me. Sakura, what do you think about me going with Sasuke-kun? INO was thinking about what to say. On one hand, her feelings for Sasuke were still there, but on the other hand, she wanted to give things a chance with Sai, so she had her answer. INO, don't worry, go ahead. I know how important it is to you. Sakura hugged INO and Sai saw the girl's reaction when she hugged her. That simple gesture was perhaps the only thing that interested him. INO's smile slowly faded into one of sadness. Sai understood at that very moment that INO was still in love with Sasuke, very possibly because of all the books he had read. There was a possibility that he could be happy with INO, but what he really wanted was something different. If INO and Sakura were so obsessed with Sasuke, why couldn't he have her? Would he be happy with her? Did they have anything in common? She thought about it all afternoon. They had gone out until now, but she was usually the one who initiated the date. He didn't talk much and knew that there were some things INO kept to herself, so he made a decision, although it was very risky. End of flashback. Sai, I decided to leave your side. I thought it would be best for you. INO, you decided that just because you saw me like that. Sai, not only that, the truth is we don't have much in common. In the long run it might not have worked, but the real reason is that I'd like to know what it feels like to be in love. INO, so what you're saying is that you didn't fall in love with me. Sai, on the contrary, I think you weren't in love with me, at least that's my impression. You were only attracted to my physical appearance. INO was surprised. Her eyes widened upon hearing that. She was beginning to understand Sai's feelings. INO, I suppose you might have a point, but I really wanted to try. Sai, I know that's how it is, and I truly appreciate the opportunity, although love, it doesn't seem like it was. INO, you're right, I suppose it's my responsibility too. Isn't it? Sai, not at all, you just wanted to be happy with someone, that's all. I think that at some point you will find that special person. INO, I never thought you'd be so emotional. Sai, The blonde guy in the house might have infected me a little. The girl smiled at that. INO, yes, maybe you're right. Sigh. Are we okay? INO. I suppose so, although it might take some time. Naruto saw them, who came out of the room where Karen was, because he woke up very early and approached where INO was, but saw the couple talking so he did not interrupt. He went over to Karen and sat on the floor looking at the girl. Karen opened her eyes slightly. She had slept too long and wanted to move around a bit. Karen, where's INO? Naruto, you're awake. INO was supposed to be on guard, but now she's talking to Sai. Karen, I can see those two talking, that's interesting. Naruto, why do you say that? Karen, well, I saw INO looking at Sai a lot. Maybe she likes him. Naruto, yes, maybe with a sad look. Karen, what's wrong? Naruto, nothing. Karen, wait, do you like INO? Naruto, what? No, she and I are friends. The redhead smiled at that. Karen, denying it gives you away. Naruto, what does that mean? Karen, if you really don't like it, why are you getting nervous? Naruto, I just think she's a really cute girl, but she wouldn't date someone like me. Smiling bitterly. Karen, are you that pathetic? Naruto, what? Karen, well, I lived with Sasuke and believe me, after just talking to you a little, I would prefer you. Naruto, thank you? Karen, you're welcome. Smiling. Naruto, you're weird. Karen, look who's talking. Naruto, well, I like weird things, it's actually a compliment. Karen, really? Naruto, why aren't you sleeping? You should, to recover. Karen, I'm not sleepy. I slept a lot. Naruto, sure. Karen, why do you think INO wouldn't go out with you? Naruto, well, we actually already went out, or at least we had a date. Karen, really? Naruto, yes, she invited me first, although it was a disaster. Then I invited her and I think she liked it. Karen, that's good. Naruto, not much. I was gonna ask her if it was a date or just a friendly thing, but, Karen. But, Naruto, well, I didn't dare. The truth is, I didn't even know if we were friends, so I said exactly that. We were friends. Karen, really? But everything was fine. Naruto, I don't know. I guess I was afraid to hear her answer. I honestly don't know if she feels anything for me. Karen, I'm sorry for you. I wish there was something I could do for you. Naruto, don't worry. Just listening to me is enough. Karen, you're very nice. Naruto, not many would say that. Karen smiled at the blonde man's words. She was also very calm because of his presence. Naruto, do you think Sakura is okay with Sasuke? Karen, I don't know, I suppose so, I really wouldn't know what to tell you. Naruto, I see. Karen, is she your friend? Naruto, yes, we're teammates, and besides, he was someone very special to me. I'm trying to forget. Karen, I understand. Unrequited love. Naruto, something like that. Honestly, I don't regret it, since I decided to walk away so he could be happy with me, although I never really had a chance. Karen, what a shame, we're losing a great guy. The blonde man blushed at that. It was very rare for people to say that kind of thing to him. Naruto, thanks. Karen, no problem. I like talking to you. Naruto, that's good. Smiling, while the night was still going on, they both chatted very peacefully, getting to know some things about each other. And Chapter 7, Possible Accident. Karen had been surprised by the village of Konoha. From the moment they left until they arrived there, she had been looking for Sasuke's chakra, but she didn't find it. Just as she had been told, Sasuke was not in Konoha. So with a sigh, she let go of her nerves and held a smile. Karen told Naruto that what she said was true, about the Uchiha not being in the village, to which Naruto returned her smile. At this point, Karen was leaning on Naruto's back as they traveled through the forest. When they arrived in Konoha, Naruto took Karen to the hospital while INO and Sai accompanied them. Upon arriving at the hospital, INO called a nurse who took them to a room where Karen was placed in a hospital bed to wait for the doctor to give her the necessary checkups. Naruto told INO that he would stay with Karen, so INO agreed, since for some reason Naruto's personality made Karen trust him more and therefore be an emotional support. Karen, thank you for staying. Naruto, I told you I would protect you. Karen, and now? What's next? Naruto, after they check you out, if you wish you can stay at my house. There is also the possibility that Kakashi will call you looking for information about the ninjas who attacked you, so I could accompany you, of course, if you wish. Karen, I would like that. Besides, I wouldn't know what to do about this whole thing. Naruto, good. Minutes later, Ino and Sai had filled out the report for Kakashi, telling him that Karen was fine and in the hospital, to which he nodded in approval. Kakashi. Well, I'd like to talk to Karen after she recovers. Ino, of course. Sai. Just one suggestion other than that. The copy ninja raised an eyebrow. Sai. The thing is, she came on the condition that she wouldn't run into Sasuke. Kakashi. That's true, and the reason? Sai. Apparently he has had a complicated past. Kakashi. I understand. Sai. Ino might clear some things up for her, but don't call Sasuke. Judging by his attitude and look, I think she'll find it difficult to deal with him, especially in his condition. Kakashi. Okay. I'll let him know if he comes back for any reason, but I won't do anything myself. Ino, perfect. Kakashi. Alright, you can leave. Ino and Sai. After leaving the office, both of them felt more at ease about the situation. Ino. Do you think Karen is okay? Sai. I think so. With what Kakashi said, we shouldn't worry. Ino, it's okay, it just needs to get better. Sai. Yes. Ino. I'll go to the hospital. Maybe Naruto is tired of waiting, considering how energetic he can be. Sai. That's true. Ino. Okay. See you later. Ino walked to the hospital while being watched by Sai, who was distracted by Ino's figure, which was getting further and further away. He smiled inwardly and looked up at the sky. Ino entered through the hospital doors and approached the room where Karen was. Upon entering, he saw the girl lying on the bed, apparently asleep, while he saw Naruto reclining in an armchair, resting with his eyes closed. Ino, he fell asleep. The girl left the room, and when she returned, she had a blanket in her hands to later cover Naruto. The boy, feeling the warm blanket, unconsciously hugged it to cover himself. Ino found this cute and was amazed by the blonde boy's figure. Seeing him so calm and still allowed her to notice his features, and she blushed at seeing him like that. She knew it was wrong to stay like that, but her desire and the opportunity she wouldn't have again made her not give up her position. Besides, there was something she'd wanted to do ever since she met Naruto. Seeing his whiskers so close up was a temptation for Ino's hand, which wanted to touch him eagerly. She glanced at Karen to make sure the girl didn't notice or someone might come in. Karen, for her part, turned away to look to the side, revealing a half-open eye that kept staring at the blonde couple. She wanted to guess what she was going to do, because although the girl had tried to sleep, she only managed to do so for a few moments until Ino entered, and from the moment she entered, she was attentive to her movements. Ino approached Naruto and placed her hands through his blonde hair, which relaxed Naruto, who smiled with a warm feeling. Then he moved his hands until he reached her cheeks and touched her whiskers, a strange thing since it felt odd but somewhat addictive. He gave a victorious smile while someone watched him from behind. Karen, are you having fun? Smiling. Ino, Karen, are you awake? Karen, of course I wouldn't miss something like that. Naruto began to groan. He was about to wake up, at which Ino froze in fear, as did Karen, who chose not to say anything while the blonde returned to his peaceful sleep. Ino, we almost woke him up. Karen, I'm sorry. Ino, don't worry, but what happened? When I came here, I saw him asleep. Karen, well, the poor guy got tired after waiting for the doctor. When he finished attending to me, he stayed to stand guard, but seeing him still tired, I told him it would be fine, so I encouraged him to sleep a little longer. Ino, so that's what happened. Karen, you should sleep too. Ino, don't worry, I'm fine. Besides, maybe you need some help. Looking at Naruto, Karen smiled at the girl's gesture and accepted. Karen, you know, it's so cute to see him like that. I'm sure he has lots of girls dying for him. Ino, well, I haven't seen him go out with anyone besides me. Karen, you too? Ino, no, wait, I mean, we can go out, but only as friends. Karen, I know, he told me. Ino, did he do it? Karen, that's right. I'm sorry, but I had to confirm it. Wow, she really messed up. Ino, why do you say that? Karen, well, she told me many interesting things. Ino, seriously, what did he say to you? Karen, basically, that he didn't consider himself good for anyone. Ino, huh? Naruto, Karen, apparently he has that concept about himself. It's a shame because he actually seems very nice. He never said anything to you about what I said. Ino, it's probably because we haven't known each other for very long. Although I would have loved for him to say something to me or at least deduce it. Karen, Do you care a lot? Do you like her? Ino, why are you asking me that? I honestly don't know. All I can say is that I like it quite a lot. Karen, you two are alike. You're not very honest about your feelings. I'll just tell you one thing. If you don't want him, there will be someone else who will. Winking at him, Ino was surprised by that. A question wanted to escape her throat, but she was nervous about the answer. But in the end, important things have to be said. Ino, do you like Naruto? Karen was left thinking about what she had said. She certainly didn't want to have a love triangle, especially now that she was in that state, so she simply said what she felt at that moment. Karen, well, no, I don't like it. Ino smiled because of that. The redhead observed the Yamanaka's gesture. So in a mocking tone, she decided to tease her a little. Karen, why are you smiling? Don't tell me you're glad you don't have a rival. Smiling slightly. Ino. Smiling? No, wait. I think you look a little uncomfortable. I'll get you a pillow. I can ask the nurse. Wait, I'll get it myself. Leaving the room, Ino closed the door and sighed. She was seriously confused. She didn't want to be rejected or have a relationship that ultimately went nowhere, but she also didn't want to miss the opportunity to love someone and be loved. A long time had passed since she had been obsessed with Sasuke, regretting having insisted so much on someone who did nothing but reject her. It was her first love, so she didn't quite understand how to handle the situation, but looking at it from a current perspective, she should reconsider her feelings for the boy. After that, she started dating Sai, but that didn't work out either, leading nowhere, so she felt very insecure about relationships. I sigh at that and gently tap her cheeks to focus. She took a deep breath, opened the door, and was surprised to see the blonde boy's eyes so close. It seemed the boy had woken up and was planning to come out. That was the conclusion Ino reached. Karen approached the pair of blondes walking slowly, but due to the blows she had received and still not fully recovered, she tripped and fell, pushing the blonde with the girl. A few seconds later, they both looked at each other with a slight blush as they realized their lips had met. Ino and Naruto separated in a swift movement, looking embarrassed. Karen. Sorry, I wanted to go to the bathroom. Naruto. What's wrong with you? Do you know what you did? Karen. No, what happened? Since I fell, I couldn't see anything. The two blondes looked at each other before answering Karen. Ino and Naruto. Nothing happened. Karen looked a little confused as both boys helped the redhead up and accompanied her to the restrooms. While they waited, the boys glanced at each other furtively. Naruto, Ino. I'm sorry. Ino. Don't worry, it was just an accident. Relax. Blushing, Naruto. Are you sure? Ino, yes, Naruto, that's fine. Karen left the restroom to go to her room, accompanied by Naruto, while Ino was about to leave the hospital to go home, to which the blonde nodded, letting Ino leave at full speed, very blushed. And Chapter 8, New Feelings. Naruto was thinking about that accidental kiss with Ino, it becoming a constant image in his mind. He hadn't understood what to do after that yet, so he was trying to act normal. Naruto left some clones to look after Karen while he watched the girl rest in bed. Seeing that there would be no problem leaving her, he left the hospital. It was already night by this time and most people were probably sleeping except for him, who didn't feel like going to bed and resting. He was restless and anxious, so he decided to go to the place with the violet flowers to get the soft touch of Ino out of his mind. But it was worse because everything reminded him of her. That's when an idea came to him, but he didn't know how she was going to take it. Running at full speed, he arrived at the girl's house and threw a small stone at her window, repeating the act. The lights in the room turned on when a pretty girl came out onto her balcony. Ino, Naruto? What are you doing here? Naruto. Ino, can I come into your room? The girl's blush made her nervous. Naruto. In my room. Upon entering, the blonde man saw that her room was very nice, and the soft perfume of the room confirmed that it was Ino's. Ino, what do you want? Naruto, the truth is I wanted to see you. Ino, well, you're here now. Naruto. Ino, tell me, would I have a chance if I told you I liked you? Ino was stunned by that. Many things went through her mind, but she didn't understand where he was going with it. Ino, I wouldn't refuse. Blushing, Naruto stared at the blonde girl, his whole being filled with anguish. The truth was that he had rarely crossed the line of being just a friend with a girl, but without a doubt, This was the furthest he had ever gone. The boy walked to the balcony while being watched by Ino. He stopped for a moment to look at her. Naruto, then I'll come visit you at the shop often. Smiling. Ino, I'd love to have you. Smiling. Naruto, see you. Ino watched the blonde boy leave, happy about his comment. She never thought she could go on a date with Naruto. Ino lay down on her bed, pressing the pillow to her chest. She could still remember the date she had with the boy. Although they had gone out as friends that time, it was now clear that he felt something more for her than just friendship. Naruto returned to the girl's room again as she jumped out of bed and watched him approach. Ino, Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto approached the girl and kissed her unexpectedly. She blushed at the blonde boy's movement. Naruto, okay, see you later. He left the room while Ino was left in shock. Naruto was certainly an expert in the art of surprise. You never know what he'll do next. Ino remained still in the same position while the words failed to come out of her mouth. Ino, he kissed me. Kaira. Naruto ran across the rooftops while his heart beat very fast. He had really taken a lot of courage to do something like this, but it managed to break through that barrier he had always wanted to break. At the hospital, Karen looked at a photo of herself with Sasuke while sighing to get rid of those feelings from the past that tormented her. So she decided to keep it. She had seen her backpack in the room and put it away, returning to her bed and paying attention to her thoughts as she saw the blondes guarding her. He realized that the real Naruto had left, so he decided not to worry since he would surely return. At one point, he remembered what Naruto had told him about his love life and how he came to the conclusion that nobody loved him. Imagining the blonde man so attentive to her made her blush slightly. He was so different from Sasuke that the comparison was abysmal. I was thinking of a way to stop having to run away and settle somewhere. Maybe here in Konoha, if I had the blonde guy's help. Thinking about all the details of the blonde man, his smile and the kindness he had towards her, made her feel safe when she was with him. Karen, maybe someday I can love you, Naruto. And Chapter 9. Compensation. Ino was happy with the night she had. Naruto's kiss had been unexpected, but she liked it a lot. She wanted to finish her things as quickly as possible so that when he came she could excuse herself by saying she was on break and walk around. Maybe she could ask him to go again to the place where he took her last time. Ino, what are you doing? Naruto? At the hospital, Naruto was talking to Karen while she blushed because he was so close you could almost feel his breath. This happened because in the middle of the conversation, she mentioned that she liked ramen, which excited the boy, and he approached her to take her hands and ask her to go eat with him one of these days. Karen, sure, no problem. Naruto, well, believe me, if there's a place where you'll get good ramen, it's with Tuchi. Karen. Tuchi? Naruto, yes, he's one of the best at making ramen. Karen. So, what are we waiting for? Naruto, great. I'll go talk to the doctor to see if you can leave today. Karen. I really want to go out. I haven't eaten anything decent in ages. Naruto, we have to go. A few hours had passed while Naruto finished talking with the doctor, who basically told him that he could be discharged because he was better and only required rest. Upon entering the hospital room, he saw Karen talking to an ANBU while he watched him arrive, and then they headed to Kakashi's office. In the office, Karen was talking to Kakashi about her stay in Konoha. He remembered that she could stay and revealed the fact that she was an Uzumaki. Naruto was surprised by the news, but after a few moments, he understood that the matter was more important, since the two of them were the last of their clan. In the middle of the conversation, Naruto offered to give Karen a place to stay, while she saw how the blonde smiled at that. Since for him it was important to have someone like Karen in his life, since that way he wouldn't feel so alone, so Kakashi accepted while Karen nodded at that. Kakashi was at ease with the decision and also mentioned that if she was an Uzumaki, Sasuke wouldn't be able to bother her, since she would be protected by his authority and he couldn't harm her because she was part of a clan that needed them to thrive. The idea of joining the program was still on Naruto's mind, but he refused, believing it unnecessary. As stubborn as ever, he decided to drop the matter and head home to host Karen. Along the way, the two of them chatted until they ran into a blonde they both knew. Naruto, Ino, blushing. Ino, hi Naruto, blushing. Karen, hi Ino. Ino, Karen, were you discharged? Karen, yes, it seems I don't need to be in the hospital for very long anymore. Ino, that's good. Karen, where are you going? Ino, I'm going to pick up some plants that are missing from the store. I wanted to finish my homework quickly. Naruto. That's good, Ino-chan. Ino, yes, I like to walk for a change. Karen watched the blushing boys as an idea came to her. Karen, why don't you go with him? Naruto? I could go with one of your clones. Naruto. Seriously? Karen, yes. Ino, Karen is not necessary. Karen. I insist, and I also think it will be better this way. I need to rest a little more. Naruto left a clone to accompany Karen home, while the blondes walked to their destination with a slight blush. And, Chapter 10. I like you. Naruto picked the flowers that Ino told him to, then placed them in a basket that the girl bought on the way to the hill, filling the basket and managing to complete the task. They both sat down while talking about their daily lives, but the conversation became somewhat tense when they started talking about the kiss the blonde man had given her. Naruto. I never thought I'd do something like this, but I wanted to take the risk. You're not upset, are you? Ino, no, actually I liked it. Naruto blushed at the girl's words while she was in the same state. They both glanced at each other out of the corner of their eyes until at a certain moment they looked at each other intently to get closer. Ino, Naruto, blushing. Naruto, I like you. Ino shuddered at the blonde man's words. She was trying to maintain eye contact, but she couldn't. Her nerves got the better of her. Ino, I like you too. Naruto hugged the girl as she blushed even more, thinking about the things that were happening. Ino, we've only been on one date, you know. Naruto will have all the dates you want, Ino-chan. Ino, as friends? Laughing. Naruto, that was bad, wasn't it? Ino, a lot. Naruto, this time, it will be different. Smiling. They were both calm as if the world wasn't troublesome enough. But that's how things happened and they felt good about it. They left the hill holding hands, becoming nervous about the act, although they later stopped, out of embarrassment at being seen being so affectionate. Ino saw a poster for a movie that was going to be shown at the cinema, which was a romance, but she remembered that she had to take the basket to the store. While she was debating that problem, Naruto gave her the option of his clones, which they used to carry her things while they walked to see the romantic movie. Far from Konoha, Sakura and Sasuke were kissing. In a couple of seconds, Sakura blushed so much that she wanted to faint right there, unlike Sasuke, who felt nothing except a very strange sensation. Since Ino had left, he had not forgotten her image. Sakura, Sasuke-kun, is something wrong? Sasuke, nothing, we should go back. Sakura, return? Sasuke, yes, we must return to Konoha. Sakura, but we still have to complete the mission. Sasuke, we're almost done. They don't need us anymore, so we could go back. Sakura, but are you sure? Sasuke, of course. Sakura, okay. I'll send a letter to Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke, it's not necessary, we could just go. Sakura, sure? Sasuke, that's right. Sakura, okay. I'll do whatever you want. Sasuke-kun. Sasuke, okay. Let's go, we need to get ready. After a few hours, Sasuke and Sakura were leaving for Konoha. Sakura smiled at returning to her home that she had missed so much, wondering what had happened in her absence. At that moment, Ino and Naruto were watching the movie while eating popcorn. Upon leaving the cinema, the two blondes said goodbye and agreed to go somewhere else since the outing was unexpected. So they decided to go out again tomorrow. Naruto smiled because he was going out with Ino. He still couldn't believe it, since she could have rejected him, but she didn't. He was very happy with the result, so at one point he looked up at the sky, thinking that things were improving. Naruto, what could possibly go wrong? And, Chapter 11. We arrived. Karen had finished settling into Naruto's house while he prepared breakfast. She had spent the night there, so she was starting to feel more comfortable with the idea of staying. She was in her room, looking at the picture of her with Sasuke, when she tore up the photo and threw it in a trash can. She got up and went with Naruto to the table, where they talked about what they were going to do that morning. For Naruto, it was to be with Ino, while for Karen, it was simply to stay home watching television or reading something so as not to get bored. Naruto smiled at her and left the house, managing to arrive early at the blonde's shop. Ino, Naruto-kun. Naruto, hey Ino-chan, shall we go? Ino, yes, wait a moment, if a customer arrives you can serve them for me. Naruto, me? But, Ino, just tell him that he'll be seen in a few moments. My mother will take care of it. Naruto, good. Naruto waited for Ino while looking at the shop, his back to the door, when it opened. The noise he made caused the blonde man to turn around to attend to the customer while he told him without thinking what Ino had told him. Naruto, welcome. You'll be attended to shortly. Sakura, hello. Naruto, Sakura. The girl hugged the blonde boy after a year without seeing him. The girl's reaction made Naruto freeze. Naruto, when did you arrive? Sakura, what kind of deal is that? You're not happy to see me, are you? Smiling. Naruto, of course you're right, welcome back. Sakura, oh Naruto, you never change. Hey, what are you doing here? Naruto, Ino. Okay, shall we go? Ino's face turned to surprise when she saw her friend back, making Sakura smile at the girl's reaction. Sakura, Ino, Sakura. They hugged each other while smiling at the sight of one another, creating a very pleasant moment for them. However, Naruto's reaction was one of dismay, because it had been a long time since he had last seen her. Naruto, if Sakura's here, then Sasuke is with. Knock knock, sounded the door, as Karen tried to get up from the armchair in which she had been lying down. The girl fell asleep again, due to the tiredness she felt, because even though she had left the hospital, she still had to rest. Karen, I'm coming. The girl opened the door with her eyes slightly closed when they suddenly opened. Sasuke. Karen, Sasuke, but you? Naruto appeared behind him as Karen watched the blonde boy approach. Sasuke, what are you doing with Karen? Naruto, can I explain? Sasuke, you'd better do it quickly. I've been looking for her. Karen, you can stop now. Sasuke, Karen, why did you leave? Karen, why? I can't stand you. I just want you to leave me alone. Understand? Sasuke, you're coming with me. Sasuke was about to grab Karen to take her away, but Naruto stopped him by hitting his hand. Naruto, that's enough, Sasuke. Karen is living with me. Sasuke, what? Karen, that's right. I'm living with him. We're dating. Sasuke, what about you? Naruto, wait. Karen took the blonde boy's hand while Sasuke watched them angrily. Naruto, Karen, no, wait. A kiss on the cheek sealed the idea that Naruto and she were a couple, at least for Sasuke that's what it was. Karen, you see, now get out. Sasuke. Naruto, glaring at him with hatred. Naruto, no, wait, it's a misunderstanding. Sasuke, I'll be back. This isn't over. Sasuke disappeared from the scene at great speed while the boys remained motionless. Naruto, what did you do? Karen, I just wanted him to leave. I'm sorry. Naruto, this is bad. What will I do now? Karen, don't worry. It's not like you have a girlfriend. Naruto looked at Karen when she said those words. Karen, what's happening? Minutes later, Ino and Sakura were having a cup of tea in the shop while they talked about the things that had happened. She still hadn't told her about her relationship with Naruto because she wanted to keep it a secret for a while longer while they were dating a little more. Sakura, where could Naruto have gone? Ino, I don't know, he disappeared from one moment to the next. Sakura, and I wanted to talk to him. Hey, so how's it going? How are things with him? You told me you two went out. Don't tell me he ruined it and now you're just friends. Laughing. Ino, don't talk like that. Naruto might surprise you. Sakura, are you that in love with him? Sarcastically. Ino, well, some things have happened. Sakura, really? The door opened as Sasuke walked in to see Sakura. Sakura, Sasuke-kun, you came. Ino, hello Sasuke. Sasuke, we need to go talk to Kakashi. Let's go. Ino, what's wrong with him? Why the attitude? Sakura, something must have upset him. See you later. Ino, see you later. The boys left the store and went to Kakashi's office to talk to him while he explained things to them. In the end, it was decided that they would stay in Konoha, which pleased Sakura to return to her village after a long time. However, Kakashi had to discuss an additional matter with Sasuke, but in private. Sakura accepted Kakashi's orders and went home to see her parents, leaving them alone in the office. Sasuke, so what do you want to talk about? And